It happened on a quiet Tuesday afternoon at Marty's Highway Diner, the kind of place where the smell of pancakes and old country music makes you feel safe. I was sitting in my usual corner booth, sipping coffee, when the bell over the door jingled. A girl walked in, maybe 15 or 16. She had a soft smile and moved slowly, using a teal-colored walking brace strapped to her left leg. Her name, I later learned, was Emily. She greeted the waitress with a warm, "Hi, Miss Carroll," and headed to her favorite seat near the window. Everyone in town knew her. Everyone loved her. Well, almost everyone. A group of 3 high school boys barged in moments later, loud, rude, and carrying the kind of energy that makes the whole room stiffen. They slid into the booth right behind her, whispering and snickering like they owned the place. Emily ignored them at first. She just stirred her hot chocolate and looked outside, humming. But the boys kept getting louder. Then it happened. The biggest one, broad shoulders, cheap cologne, stood up, walked over, and mimicked her slow walk. Everyone froze. "Hey, limp girl," he taunted. "Need help moving your legs?" Emily's face flushed. She tried to stay calm, but he stepped closer and, out of nowhere, slapped her milkshake across the table, splattering it all over her shirt. One of the boys actually laughed. "No one wants you here," the bully sneered. Emily trembled, not because of the mess, but because of the humiliation. Tears filled her eyes, and everyone in the diner just watched. They were afraid. But what none of us knew was that help was already on its way. Miss Carroll hurried over with napkins, scolding the boys, but they brushed her off like she was nothing. One of them muttered, "Relax, we're just having fun." Fun. If that was fun, I didn't want to know what cruelty looked like. Emily kept whispering, "Please stop, please," but her voice was so small, it barely reached the air. That I wanted to stand up. I wanted to say something, but fear glued me to my seat. I hated myself for it. The boys pushed it further. The tallest one tapped Emily's brace with his foot, making a metal clink. "What's this? Your robot leg? Bet you can't even run." Emily tried to stand to leave, but he shoved her shoulder just enough to make her stumble back into her chair. She gasped, half pained, half panicked. That's when the bell over the diner door rang again. Jingle. All 3 boys turned. Standing there were 4 huge men in leather jackets, patches across their backs reading Iron Shepherd's Motorcycle Club. Their boots scraped the floor as they walked in, heavy and slow, like they weren't in a hurry to impress anyone. Miss Carroll swallowed. Everyone stared. The bikers took one look around. Then one of them, a tall guy with a gray beard and soft blue eyes, noticed Emily. He noticed her tears. He noticed the spilled drink. And most importantly, he noticed the boys. His expression didn't change, but something in the air did. He walked over, calm as still water. "Sweetheart," he said gently to Emily. "Did someone hurt you?" The boys' faces paled. The gray-bearded biker looked at them with a stare that could freeze fire and said, "You kids want to try picking on someone who ain't defenseless?" The diner went silent. The boys tried to act tough at first, puffing their chests and muttering excuses. "We didn't do anything," the ringleader said, voice cracking. The gray-bearded biker stepped closer, folding his arms. "That's so? Then why's she crying, son?" Emily wiped her cheeks. They pushed me and spilled my drink." The biker crouched down so he was eye level with her. "Are you hurt?" His tone was soft, like a dad talking to his own child. She shook her head. "Just embarrassed." He nodded. Then he stood, turning toward the boys with a look that said the conversation wasn't over. Another biker, a huge man with tattoos of angels on his arms, leaned forward and tapped the ringleader's shoulder. "You ever hit a girl again, disabled or not, you're gonna have the whole Shepherds to answer to." The boys swallowed so hard you could hear it, but the gray-bearded man did something none of us expected. He didn't yell. He didn't threaten. He pointed to an empty booth. "Sit," he told the boys. "We're gonna talk." And somehow, they obeyed. What followed was strange, quiet, and powerful. The bikers didn't scare them with fists. They told them stories, real ones, about kids who were bullied until they broke. About times they themselves were young and stupid. About how one cruel moment can stay with someone forever. The boys listened. Really listened. Emily watched with wide eyes. I watched too, ashamed I hadn't been brave enough. When the talk ended, the biggest bully stood up, walked to Emily, and whispered, I'm sorry. I was being awful." His voice shook. She didn't say much, just nodded, but you could see relief in her face. The diner felt different now. Warmer. After the boys left, the gray-bearded biker asked Miss Carroll for a towel so he could help clean the mess they'd caused. Emily tried to stop him, saying she could do it herself, but he just smiled. Let us help you today, sweetheart. Everybody needs a hand sometimes. They bought her a fresh hot chocolate, extra whipped cream, and even sat with her while she drank it. She giggled more in that half hour than she had in months. When it was time for them to leave, the biker bent down and said, "If anyone ever bothers you again, you tell them the Iron Shepherds are your friends. Understand?" Emily nodded proudly, like she'd just been adopted by superheroes. As they walked out, Miss Carroll whispered to me, "You see? This is what real strength looks like." And she was right. Strength isn't loud, and it isn't cruel. Strength protects. Strength lifts others up. Before driving away, the gray-bearded biker looked back into the diner and said, "Folks, don't ever stay quiet when you see someone being hurt. It costs nothing to stand up." His words hit me hard. Hard enough that I made myself a promise right then I'd never freeze again. Not when someone needed help. Not when kindness could save someone from pain. Emily left the diner smiling that day. Not because the world suddenly became perfect, but because a few strangers decided to make it kinder. Kindness is courage. Real heroes aren't the ones who cause fear, they're the ones who end it. One brave choice, one moment of standing up, can change someone's whole day, or even their whole life.